Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below for the 10th day of, is it the 10th day? I think so, of January 2022. No baby yet, but she's working on it. And so uh, I'm going ahead and recording this a little bit early just in case we don't want to get caught in the middle of doing this and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to go now. So anyway, it's our third grandchild and we're very excited. It's going to be a boy and we're very, very happy. So anyway, I hope everybody's had a good weekend, and it's been an eventful week with the memory and the remembrance of what happened on the insurrection, and where we are in all of that. And I just hope that they continue on doing what they're doing and prosecuting people that need to be prosecuted. And but we'll see, I guess, won't we? Anyhow, my video's jumping a little bit there, so apologies if that shows up. Hopefully it'll process out of it. So let's go ahead though and take the rune for today out of the Elder Futhark bag, letting that flow through my hands here till the last one's there. If this is your first time here, welcome. I hope you click subscribe and come back. Join our little tarot and rune family here as we explore how tarot and runes can enhance our lives, and just give us a better focus, I think. Be more mindful of the spirit within. And no better rune to do that with than Alyi's. Now, Alyi's, really, it represents the elk, or the elk sedge. It looks like the antlers of an elk up there, though. It also looks like when you raise your arms in supplication to spirit. Ideally, how I define this is air, fire, and water with earth down at the bottom. And so you're drawing in the elemental energies of spirit into your awareness. It's the bridge to higher consciousness. It links the physical reality, like Iwas does. It links physical reality with spirit, with the astral realm. It's about protection. And let's see what our geomancy rune is going to be for today. We'll throw down the 4 elemental runes and we'll put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. Oh, look at that. We have Conjunctio, which we've not had in a while. Let me find it here in the bowl. Conjunctio is about joining and alignment with others, union, agreement. So basically the energies we're dealing with on the as above side of it, I'm trying to move my keyboard out of the way and not smash a rose I have there. Anyway, well, I mean, it's dried, but it's white, it's from my garden. Anyway, but with Iwas, we're drawing down the as above part of it, a spirit awareness into our own physical awareness, and with then when we get there with the below part of it, we're aligning together with others on a shared path. And when you think about it in terms of agreement, I think that you're talking about the agreement that each piece of an oversoul, if you want to call it a collective oversoul of everyone here, if you want to look at it that way, each person on earth is just an aspect of that. Or if it's a bunch of different oversouls expressing souls out, pieces of itself out to manifest in reality, we're all doing that based on an agreement that's in the astral realm. That's the soul level type of an agreement. To be here for one another, to provide the catalysts for learning, even if it's stuff that isn't such a good thing. It all provides some kind of impetus or catalyst for learning. And so we draw down spirit, and we link our physical awareness with our astral or spiritual awareness and spirit. And so there's an agreement there as well. And so I think the 2 runes combine very well together today. What we're going to do next, though, is we're going to go ahead and take the 3 cards. If we need more, we'll take them. I'm going to shuffle just a little bit more because this is still a new deck. It doesn't want to shuffle very well up on the desk. And so let's go and just do this on my lap a little bit more. I think if I get over the top of them, they're easier for me to control. They're real slick when they're new, and I've been working with it, but it takes a while. I mean, it could take, a month or better for the cards to really start to settle down and shuffle the way I want them to. So anyhow, I think that's enough. I was doing some of it before I started. So anyhow, let's go ahead and take a look at the first 3 cards. Maybe that's all we will take. Well, oh, this is interesting. Okay, here's my idea. I have I'll say this first. I have the Ace of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Page of Pentacles. Now, if the Magician were actually the Fool, this would really be in alignment, at least in terms of my opinion. The Fool is undeveloped potential. Well, so is the Ace in any of the suits. This is Pentacles, and so you're looking at the Earth element here. So something is new, in other words, something undiscovered, something undetermined, something undeveloped is forming in terms of our material security. Pentacles, or the earth element, represents everything about material form: our bodies, our families, our work, our education, our training, our traditions, the Akashic record, very similar to the Rune of Thala, the 24th rune of the Elder Futhark. And here we're going through a doorway, basically, into new material security, maybe, or new physical experiences on the material plane, maybe. You see the path right here. You see the mountains through there. And so it doesn't mean that there won't be challenges, because again, the challenges are the catalysts that help us to learn. And so once we get there, we have the Magician. Now again, if it were the Fool, it would be total undeveloped potential. But with this, there is still that implied, because the Magician, you have the Magician that crafts the outer experience, i.e. the Pentacles, and you see all of his tools here on the table. Representing air, fire, water, and earth. There's the pentacle for earth. There's the chalice for water. There's the staff or wand for fire. And there's the sword here for air. You see the lemniscate above his head. And that's about the eternal nature of life. If you were to turn it this way, it would be more as above, so below, wouldn't it? Very similar to the Rune de Gauze, just the edges are rounded. Instead of looking like a bow tie, you have the lemniscate there. It's the first card of the Major Arcana, card 1. And so that's new beginnings, isn't it? You see the garlands and the lilies, the roses and the lilies above and below. And so he's doing this with pure intention. He's manifesting his experience with pure intention. You see he's holding the scroll high above his head there to spirit, with his hands in an as above, so below stance, basically. Now, in the devil card, you're going to see the same thing, only here you would see the devil figure, the goat-headed figure, holding a torch downward. And so his focus, of course, is on physical form or ego, whereas the magician's focus is upon spirit, drawing spirit down into his manifestation, basically. And so whatever we're doing here, what we're manifesting here in terms of our physical aspect, our material aspect of life, our physical experiences here on this planet, we're going to do it from a higher perspective. Which, when you consider Jupiter in Pisces right now, that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about an expansive level of spiritual awakening, an expansive level of spiritual awareness that is of understanding, of empathy, of compassion, and realizing that is the primary component, or the primal component of who we are in spirit, and to not manifest that into form, then we basically devolve then into the ego, and then of course all kinds of things happen. Now the other card we have is the Page of Pentacles. So again, new message, new development, maybe a birth. I mean, that's what is happening in our family. It depends on what it's paired with. Um, but again, you know, we have conjunctio or union or joining or agreement. Now the page is also about undeveloped potential. So if we had the Fool here, we would have all three, elements of undeveloped potential in the reading. But the Magician is just as useful here, I think, because it's about what we're going to manifest. And since Pentacles, we've got to run on Pentacles here, then we have an emphasis on the earthly aspect of our existence together. And here we see I'll go back to this. We see the page leaning into the future, isn't he? You can see him putting his weight on his left foot. Now the left foot would represent the receptive side of self. So again, with Jupiter in Pisces, we're talking about compassion, viewing our relationships with one another, the conjunctio aspect of the reading, which kind of, represents, Degas that way, and the lemniscate above the magician's head. So you see a lot of synchronicity here between the runes themselves and the cards, I think. But whatever is coming, it's clearly we need to manifest from spirit, and we need to do it in a way that is in harmony with other people. Let's do one more card. I say that now, but you never know. Maybe we'll do more than one. Now watch, I'll draw the devil. I'm going to take the 13th one for randomness sake. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, one of the last times I talked about this card, or maybe the last time I talked about this card, I normally I think of this in terms of miserliness of somebody in authority. He's got his back to the kingdom, the king does, and he's stepping on his coins. He's holding one fast to himself. It's huge. He's displaying one on his head, while the kingdom is in the background. There's definitely a separation between the two, because you've got a line of demarcation behind here with the kingdom on one side of it and the king on the other. Now, we had a reading, and I don't remember the other cards because it was a couple of weeks back, where instead of reading it as miserliness, it is the king, this person in authority, is standing up and gathering the wealth together so that he can then take care of the kingdom with it. And it's almost like he's standing there protecting the kingdom, standing out front, being the guy that you have to meet first. He's not expecting the kingdom to protect him. He's the one protecting. It's almost like he's on sentry duty, even though he's sitting down. And he's showing people that, you know what, whatever you throw at us, we're ready. Okay? Now, it could be that that's what's happening. If you look at this in terms of the government, we have a different administration that is doing great things for the country. I realize that there are people that think that's not true, but I don't agree. I think that between the jobs report, between getting testing out to the test kits out, I think, what are they supposed to go out starting next week to everybody? Everybody's supposed to get COVID test kits. I don't know if you have to ask for them or if they're just going to send them to people. I don't know. But you may have to actually go onto a website and order them, but I don't know. But they're supposed to go out, I think, next week, or the week that we're in now, maybe, when I'm doing this video for. But either way, you're seeing the idea of protection trying to get people to understand that vaccines are necessary right now. It's not like this is just some average flu thing. This is a pandemic that's killing people. A lot of people, well, we're at over 800,000 people now or some such thing that we know of. There could be more, but that's the numbers I think right now. How did we get there? Well, we got there because we had a political administration that didn't care about any of us. They just cared about getting reelected. So I don't know why they couldn't, link those two things together, but they couldn't. And so a lot of misinformation, out lies were given. And so people thought they could do thus and so in support of their president, right? That ultimately ended up not being a good thing for anybody. And so now you have, a new variant that's out that's harmful, and who knows how many we're going to have after that. So again, we have to have a science-based truth that's going out to everybody, and so it can be that all of that could be represented here if we're looking at it from a bigger collective standpoint. Now, if we're not, then what this can indicate is that you're gathering up your own reserves in a way that protects your family, for example. You're making different decisions that make you more secure. Maybe you were out of work for a while and you now have a job. The jobs numbers are, what is it they said? The unemployment rate is like under 4%, which they didn't think would happen until 2026. And now here it is, not even a year into President Biden's administration, and that's where we are, 3.7 or 3.9%, which is the lowest it's been forever, right? And so I think that we're starting to see things emerge in a way that is more compassionate, that's more protective, that's more supportive. And it could be that in order for that to become the norm, each one of us has to think about, how do we manifest compassion and support and harmony in our lives with one another? In terms of our marriages, in terms of our immediate family, in terms of our extended family, and then our neighbors and our community. How are we actually helping people to live better and to live safer? I might have mentioned this before. We were in a local tire shop where they're not in masks. The guy that waited on us put his on when we came in, but everybody else, other than one girl that walked through, she had a mask on. Nobody else had them on. You had customers coming in right and left that no masks on. And here my husband and I were double masked, And so, and plus we've been vaccinated and had the booster. So 3 times. And so we're doing our part. That's what, it's not just to keep us safe, it's to keep everybody else safe who's around us. Because you don't know until you do know that you're sick. You can be shedding that virus and you haven't started showing symptoms yet. And so it's a dangerous thing for anybody to do right now, to go around anywhere or to have businesses allow anyone in, or to have their staff not be in masks. It just makes no sense to me. And yet that's what we experience. So this place we've been going to since the 80s, we won't go back to now because they were ridiculous about it. And it's sad because some of these long-term businesses could set the standard for other ones to follow, and yet let's just devolve into nothingness. And then we went to a car dealership in the next town over, and I don't know why I would have expected them to not be, I guess because of what I saw at this tire shop. But here everybody's in masks. The customers, the staff, everybody is. And so we haven't been leaving here. We haven't been going to that town, the town next over at all, during this time. And except one time we did. But other than that, we haven't been there. And so it was very gratifying, in other words, to see how a business is setting an example for others to follow and conveying to other people that, hey, we care about your safety. We care about your health. And I think that's really all people are doing. So I have to wonder that as we move into this Jupiter in Pisces moment, now it's going to go away after May, like the middle of May, but then I think come back toward the end or middle to end of October or something. So we're going to have a couple of months at the end of the year where it's also in Pisces, but right now it is. And I think that it's asking us again to figure out, and I think this reading is too, are we going to react going forward to the things that we see and the things we experience and our perceptions? Is it going to be based on the, oh, what's in it for me, or I'm the only one important? That's the ego talking. Or are we going to actually look at the bigger picture from a spiritual perspective, observe all of it, understand going forward what kinds of choices can I make to live in a more harmonious and compassionate and peaceful way with others, to where we value life and we value health and we value safety and security for everyone. When are we going to, excuse me, have that mindset? And I just think that the energies right now are providing that space for us to do that. So anyhow, that's it. We did 4 cards. That was pretty cool. Thanks for watching, you guys. And I look forward to sharing the news of my grandchild being born here eventually. And I'll do that as soon as I can. But otherwise, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful few days. We'll talk again on Thursday when we meet again for As Above, So Below. And be good to yourself. Be good to one another. Express Jupiter and Pisces in your life. And blessed be.